Josh. Hope you're having a great day today. It's your video lesson. Let's see here. One song I want to talk about. I'll talk about that song. And if you have questions or want me to have any follow-up questions for me, feel free to send those over my way. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it and see what's going on. So let's get to it. So thanks for sending over the video of you playing through. Very helpful for me to see what's going on with how it's going this week. For this one, a lot of rhythm stuff. You got to get the chord changes down. That's good. Now we just got to make sure we're actually changing on the correct beats, or the and of beats. There's a lot of offbeat or syncopated changes in this song. So the first thing is the opening riff, the opening melody, or so the opening guitar part. It goes here and then goes up to the C form D chord. So we have a C and C form D. And we have added E to it. And we haven't added G to that. So it'd be 9/11. So it's a D add 9/11 chord. You're curious what it's called. Right, so for this one, you want to be careful when you're doing that slide up. Sometimes when you do it, you're actually kind of taking like too long to get there, and you're ending up landing on beat 2. So the change is actually this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So he's starting to slide on the downbeat of the second bar. 1 and then the and of 2 is when he gets there. Sometimes you have a habit of getting there like on the 2 or the and of 2, and the best way to kind of go about fixing this would be to consult my old friend the metronome, right? This song is about 120 beats a minute, and I set my metronome to beat here on the 8th note, so I got the 8th note right there. And what I have is this: 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna practice. I'm gonna bump that tempo down a little bit, so for practice purposes, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit, and then we're gonna speed it back up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. Right? Metronome is your best friend. Without that, my counting has to be really good, and if you can try to play along to the kind of with the tape inside your head, it might not be giving you exactly what's happening in the tune. So, like I said, the best way to fix this is set your metronome to 8th notes. And the fun part of practice, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. It's a quick slide. I think in the recording you were kind of just taking a little bit too long to get there, and the riff was out of time with the song. If I bump that up to the tempo of the song, 120, it's going to sound like this: 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. And as he plays the song, 4, 1, 2. If you put a metronome on, it's going to be very clear to you right away that something is not right if you're taking too long or too little time to get there. That's why when I'm recording stuff into the DAW, man, always have a metronome going. Even I've been playing for God knows how long, and I still use a metronome when I'm recording stuff. If not that, play along with the backing track. Play along with the actual recording, and it'll tell you right away if you're off or not. Okay, cool. So next thing is the chorus rhythm. So this one, the interesting change on this is the C to the B minor chord. So you already got the chord changes down. I'm going to count out just what's called the harmonic rhythm, how fast things are changing in the song. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the change, the rate that the chords are changing at. And if you try to go off like what you think it is, or like the tape inside your head, you might or might not land. So what you got to do with this stuff is you got to count it. I would actually sit there and practice counting 1 and 2 and 3, and while I'm strumming the chords, just to get the changes down. So, and I think in this version, the versions I've listened to, I think he's doing a lot of open chords with some B minor bar chord, and I think a C might be a bar chord too. But just as a good practice, you can practice this is bar chord changes. I would do it first with open chords, and then once you get that down, then switch over to the bar chords, because those are trickier. So the changes are this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and. When that C chord, he's hitting down, up, going 1 and 2, and then on the B minors on the and of 2, that's where you're getting turned around in the song a little bit with the rhythm. You only gotta know how to do it one time, man. So I would spend like an evening just going through making sure that my chord changes were happening right on the beats that they're happening in the song. So one more time like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. That's that D chord comes on beat 2 right there. I think you might have been putting it on 1. Sometimes like when we know how a song goes, we think it goes so well, we get it wrong inside our head. So more up to speed: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. It's all these little 2 and 3%, man. When you're working on songs and you want to take them to the next level, it's all these little 1s and 2s and 3%. It's not good enough if you want to get better just to kind of loop things and cross your fingers and hope for the best. Is getting in there and going, okay, what beat is this song? What beats are the changes really happening on? Are they doing anything interesting in the strum? Like, for example, I hadn't picked up on the 1 and then the and of 2 until I listened to it and checked against the recording. So it's like little stuff like that is going to make your song even sound more polished than it already is. Not just trying to go, okay, if I just play this song over again, it'll sound right. It's going, okay, what's not sounding right, and then how do we fix that? So one more time, slow and then fast. 1, 2, no, I say slow first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. There's an up strum there. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. That 2 is important, man. That makes it really kind of jump forward, I think. So having that D on 2 is really important, and knowing that it's there. If you kind of go off, off what you're thinking it is, you might be on like a weird offbeat, because 16th offbeat, and it won't be exactly where it is in the recording. And then up to speed: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 and 4 and 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3. So get right down there real quick. Awesome. Next one is the bass riff. Nothing too crazy here. It's all pretty straightforward. And if you and your buddies get together, it'd be fun to kind of divvy up parts. This one's kind of neat, and REM's is kind of cool in general, because a lot of what they do is actually just layered guitars. If you listen to The One I Love, there's like 2 guitar parts happening at the beginning, and they stack nicely with each other. So if you get your buddies to maybe do a little homework beforehand, you can do the 2 guitar parts at the same time. So it's really neat. And for this song, it's no different. There's like 3 guitars happening in the beginning. You have a slide guitar. You have the acoustic guitar part, obviously, and then you have like the bass part that goes along with that right there. So if there's like 3 or 4 of you in the room, you can do all the different parts, rather than just everyone just kind of strumming chords. And like I said, a lot of REM songs are like that. Cool. So the bass riff is just following the chord changes, following an A form right here. So same thing there with the D chord. He's using A form, D chord for that riff. And then lastly is the solo. I can't remember the timing on the solo when it happens in the song, but it's over top of the E minor. It's just E minor and D. Curious, that would be it's in E it's E Aeolian is what will be in. So for solo lines, nothing too crazy in here, but it just gives you some lick ideas. The first lick that he does is based off of the E minor form chord. Did I get that right? E minor form chord. It's this right here, and nothing too crazy. It's a slide part, so you can get your slide out if you want. And then he goes down to a A form D chord right here, and he does the second part. How's it go? That's it. So what he's doing there is that he's using an A form D chord for that lick. What he's doing is this. He has a pull off there on the 8 to the 7, hits 7 on the 3rd string, and then goes open. So he has this. So he's doing that A form. You could totally do that if you wanted to. You could play this shape and then impress your friends by doing like a little pinky lick on there. Even though it's not really necessary, but if you want to impress your friends, you could, while holding all that down. If not, you could do what he's probably doing, which is a little slide lick. You go. And the neat thing about learning things like this and learning what form that the lick comes from allows you to go, hey, you know what, I'm going to take a solo in, I don't know, say like the Pixies song like that, something like that where they're doing, that one's an E. So if you want to do it in the Pixies song is during that solo, you can take a, because you know that this chord right here is an E chord, that song's an E, right? You can play that over top of the solo section. I think the solo section is, the solo does all over top of a B chord, so you can do, and it'll actually work pretty nicely there. So that's the value of learning the forms, these cage chords in their forms. That way you know where the lick is derived from. They're all derived from a cage chord on some level. You know, some players do it more often than others. He's definitely doing it here. He's definitely thinking of an A form chord. He's doing that, and that's the value of learning caged and what chords correspond with the licks. That way you can adapt them to your own playing and then use them in different situations depending on what key or song you happen to be playing in. So that's why I would learn those. Cool, man. Work on those things for me right there. If we get a chance next time, we'll talk about Where's My Mind. We could look at the lead part for that again if you like. If not, we'll put all the finishing touches on this one. We'll see all the rhythm changes all squared away, and then we'll go off to our next adventure. All right, man. See you next time. Bye.